we are here. So let's get the music started, huh?
So I'm going to be interested to see if that Kled's going to be banned away this game. Because despite the Kled not having the cleanest early game, there was definitely a lot of pressure going on there, a lot of back and forth fighting, something that it didn't seem like Ravensman could really deal with. He kept going in for the trades, he kept drawing in like he had his own personal bear trap on a rope on him, where he just felt the need to consistently take these trades with the Kled, who would happily scale up, get those items necessary, get the third item GA to enable him to just dive in with the Amumu, threaten those carries, and with the Graves jungle, with Thresh at support, there's just not a lot of appeal for those immobile carries. There's not a lot of appeal for the Caitlyn, who consistently holds onto our summoners. So that is up to her teammates to keep her alive if her decision is to just not use the flash. If you're going to spend a lot of your gold, a lot of your wave clear on giving the farm to this Caitlyn, you need to either keep her alive or she needs to keep herself alive. And that's just not a composition that did anything they really wanted to do. With the Ahri just not having the damage and not making the plays she needed to, it was all up to the Caitlyn to deal the damage, and that didn't work out. So we see here the Lee Sin ban again, most likely a target ban. Shen banned away for the strong pressure. Ashe has been banned away this time, which I consider a very smart move. They had trouble dealing with the Ashe the last game. Ashe overall is a very strong ADC right now. A lot of control over the lane as soon as she hits 6, and a lot of possibilities to make plays afterwards.
Well, the thing you have to consider is, I don't think that any one component of Barney Brigade's team comp broke momentum. They were competitive. They were fighting throughout most of that game. So what do? You ban away what you think is going to be the most, neutral or like general purpose pick, in this case Ashe, in the bottom lane, try to throw them off a little bit, and then the Orianna coming out as the last ban as well is going to be the next thing I would recommend, either banning that or taking that, just on the side of momentum, so that Barney's Brigade doesn't have their like general purpose components that they can use to create a cohesive team comp that basically behaves the same way as their previous one. They can change things up, hoping that maybe they'll have a better chance in the second game. But the picks are already coming in here, and Amumu is coming back for Reventhius.
So I find this interesting. So we can assume that Piotrick does not play the Amumu. I don't think there are very many junglers right now in this league that play the Amumu. So this first pick is less about taking away a priority pick, which is typically what that first pick has been used for historically, and instead rather not showing their other picks.
Right.
They're more afraid of the potential counter matchup in different lanes than they are about strong picks like this Lucian, like this Zyra being picked up before them. And it's also kind of a challenge to Piotrick, considering that despite Graves getting a lot of CS early on, getting a lot of gold early on, Amumu still had a much stronger impact throughout the game. Better pressure, and in the end still had more gold in his pocket than Graves did in his.
Well, Elise was banned last match. It's not banned this match. So we may see that coming in for Piotrick, who it may feel more comfortable on that champion than the Graves. We had mentioned that Graves is only his 6th most played jungler. There's 5 junglers, one of which I assume being Lee Sin, who he would rather play. Now he has more room to do that. We see the bottom lane coming out very early rotation here for momentum, and it's answered by the bottom lane of Barney's Brigade, which is going to be the Varus Morgana.
Which continues what I said before. They're waiting for the counter picks. They don't want to get some priority, high up on the priority list champion. They don't want some of the OPs. Instead, they want the counter matchup, the comfort matchup. So they're willing to take these necessarily lower tiers ADCs. We have the Varus, of course, which has been swapped from the lethality build to the attack speed build, Blade of the Ruin King, the Hurricane with the W max second. And we have Morgana support, which hasn't been seeing much play, but with that Black Shield, it's a little easier to deal with her in lane and to deal with the all-ins that might be coming from it. And it also was a pretty nice counterpick to the Lissandra, which is pretty interestingly locked in, leaving either the jungle or top lane as the last pick.
Yeah, if we assume the Gragas is a top lane Gragas,
Momentum.
I feel like maybe Momentum is giving Barney's Brigade exactly what they want, showing their solo laners before they have their last rotation, and now they have the counter matchups that they can choose from. They sort of have the information, unless the Gragas is going to be flexed to the jungle position, which we have seen sometimes in historically, like in the last couple of months, has been more so aligned to, or resigned to the top side of the map in general.
And if that is in fact a Gragas jungle, I like that a lot, because obviously the junglers, they get to meet each other a lot more often than maybe a top laner would, and Gragas is a very nice counter pick into the Amumu, because if you get the 2v2 counter gank, you can typically knock away, you can disrupt the Amumu, get him out of your carry space, make sure that if he lands that ulti, he can't do any more follow-up by ulting away the rest of his team away. So that's a very good matchup if that's specifically a Gragas jungle.
Ooh, and we've got a very interesting batch of picks here. I believe it is going to be a Gragas top with the Olaf going jungle, but they could both theoretically be flexed. Interestingly enough, we have another carry top laner coming out from Lion Power, Swain, who can team fight, can also get fed enough to just split push, sort of like Vladimir, where nobody can really challenge him, even though he doesn't do a lot of damage to turrets. In this top lane against the Gragas, we'll have to see how that matchup comes through. If it's anything like the last top lane matchup, even though one of them is a tank and the other one's more on the damage side, we'll probably just see them both dying over and over again to each other, and maybe Olaf will show up once in a while.
This is, from personal experience, I can tell you, this Swain matchup is terrible. Gragas is not typically the kind of champion where you can poke him down a little bit, whittle him down, and eventually get him to a level where you can fight him. Gragas will sustain, he'll jump into you every time you try to Q, and with the Olaf on top of it, that's a very scary 2v2. Even if you call the Amumu up for pressure, assuming he's 6, Olaf just doesn't care. So this is going to be a very lopsided matchup early on in the game for the top side 2v2. In the mid lane, we have some interesting picks. Neither of these are mid laners we've seen very often. Lissandra opted for the teleport for more pressure, for maybe 1-3-1s perhaps. 1-3-1's not necessarily a bad idea, considering Swain is not the best split pusher, and Cassiopeia definitely wants to stick with the teams due to her immobility. We see in the bottom lane now, this will be interesting. We have the Varus Morgana, which is not necessarily a very strong lane, very good at setting up ganks for potential jungle coming down, but essentially in the 2v2, I expect them to lose very hard. That's a lot of burst damage, a lot of upfront damage between the Lucian and the Zyra.
It's definitely going to be like an aggressive bottom lane. Daythex looking to get revenge. Lil Stevie and Sideho Derek were pushing up with the Ashe Zyra last match, so we'll see if they can do anything differently this time. One thing it's not really here nor there, but Zyra used to have a really big counter pick in the form of Misfortune. Where is that pick gone? Is there a particular reason you think that fell out of meta? Because I haven't seen it ever, like in the last couple months.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this works out. There's quite a few picks in here that we don't typically see in the highest level of competitive play. From the Cassiopeia mid, which has disappeared for a few months, Lissandra as well. I know Lissandra has a little bit more popularity still in the LMS. Maple especially, he likes those kind of flashy Flash W ulti plays. So she still has some Pio trick. No. Pio trick. Alright.
Yeah,
we'll call
I see
you
that
Pio
in
trick.
chat. We'll make sure to do that.
And so a lot of these picks have not seen much play recently. I know the Varus kind of fell out of favor. He had a little bit of play early on after the lethality nerfs, after the build kind of switched, the maxing order switched, but he hasn't seen much play. Against this team though, assuming he stays alive, assuming he does not get immediately dumped on by everyone on the opposite team, that's going to be a lot of AoE damage that is very helpful to deal with. Lissandra, some Lissandras opt to go for the Rod of Ages, that's HP. Olaf, of course, is a heavy HP stacker. Many of the Olaf jungles completely foregoing early jungle items and instead rushing that Righteous Glory, right, for really explosive ganks. Of course, Gragas stacks a lot of HP, a very tanky top laner. So this Blade of the Ruin King and W Max Varus can be very potent in the right situations, considering he can stay alive with the Black Shield, with the tanks in front of him, the front line, the CC.
We're going to be seeing just how potent both team comps are as we load onto the Rift. Just give us one moment here and we will be on there. We'll see if they can claw back momentum. Can they get what they need to earn a win in this best of two, or are they just going to be rolled over by Barney Brigade in this second match? We'll find out. Did Daythix get his champion? Did he? I mean, if he's an ADC main, every ADC main typically loves Lucian. They love going Lucian.
I mean, that's like his worst ADC from what I can see over here.
Ooh, shade thrown by the... Listen, last time you said something about a chip person, a particular player, not being great on champion.
All I'm doing is reading the stats, dude, and this guy loses more than he wins. Sure, he's got a slightly better KDA, but if we were just going off of that, then he'd just stick to playing Nami support every game.
Ooh, wow. That's rough. Well, Daythex, if you're listening, shade has been thrown. The gauntlet has been tossed at you. The ball's in your court.
Whoa, hold on. This guy said he's the best Lucian on the Discord? Oh, alright. So after this game, I'm thinking in between now and playoffs, we can start a best Lucian Ascension eSports tournament. 1v1s.
Okay. For honor, for glory.
Absolutely. I'm going to need to teach these fools that these claws ain't just for attracting mates.
Wow. It'll be just like one of your anime.
Oh, let's not get into that right now.
Well, we don't have any anime skins on the field, so I really don't have any grounds to talk about it, do I?
Not today.
Darn. Just somebody pick that dumb Lulu skin. We'll get right into it. Well, we do have some peculiar early map rotations here. It looks like maybe Amumu will be starting the red side of the jungle this time, given that he's on blue side. Maybe he likes to switch it up. Last time you remember, Barney's Brigade was on red side, and they started off their jungler at blue buff. He might just be one of those junglers that favors a bottom lane leash. I happen to be one of them.
Well, yeah, that is a pretty common start because it's typically the healthiest clear. You get the most help when you have two people helping you. Ooh,
cheeky binding. Swing and a miss from Sideho Derek. Now, not starting pool means that you don't really go for that early level 2, which may mean that Lil Stevie and Sideho Derek on the side of Barney's Brigade may be sort of relegating themselves. They understand, like, okay, we're not going to win this matchup. We're going to stay alive and farm and try to keep, stay even. And
I am a firm believer in the fact that if any Morgana support were to take W level 2, they should immediately leave the game.
Oh, okay.
So
level 2 or level 1?
Level 1, sorry.
Okay.
If they take the W, the pool level 1, it doesn't matter if they're trying to push. You can push without it. You give up basically all pressure. You know for a fact that this W is going to do no damage to them. And basically, they're free to try and 1v2 the ADC, because all Morgana can do is throw out a couple auto attacks. So I definitely say the Q is more important because an Q auto from both the Varus and the Morgana coming in on the Zyra, who overextends a little bit, definitely hurts a little more than a little bit of W poke.
I suppose that is true. It also, there's some natural synergy here with the Morgana and the Varus. One CC will set up for another. Reventheus actually going for a little aggressive play there onto the blue buff. That means that Olaf will take some liberties here, hopping over the wall with the blast cone and just charging straight forward for Barney Brigade's blue buff. Lion power. Like you said, this matchup isn't really favoring the Swain. Well, it certainly doesn't look like it right now. Only level 2, but he's already chunked below half HP and missing both of his potions. Raven's Man only using 1 stack of his corrupting potion so far, so...
Once Swain gets that Rod of Ages, and assuming the Gragas is not going AP with the Nomicon rush, Swain starts to kind of shift back in his favor. But until then, unless the Gragas takes bad trades, he's going to win that fight. And also, like you mentioned before, very interesting, this Amumu is not having a fun time in the early game. Uh-oh, maybe an all-in?
Maybe. It looks like
Ignite.
it was a swing and a miss from Derek. There is an Ignite onto little Stevie, the Black Shield, not saving him from
there's
too
the other
much.
Ignite.
Back onto Fizzy. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Piotrick and Allsnow going hard on Amazing Wingwing's Cassiopeia, but the summoners are there to keep them alive. It looks like no casualties so far, just summoner spells.
But this is very bad for the Amumu. He's going to have his first jungle clear completed without a blue buff. He had it stopped when he invaded by the Zyra, and he had his own blue buff stolen by the Olaf, who sneakily went over the wall to Baron Pit with the Blast Cone. That is not a fun early start for an Amumu. Look at him. He even went for the Hunter's Potion on his first back, knowing he's not going to have 0 mana sustain in the jungle.
That is definitely rough. Derek trying to get some poke damage to get some of that lane control back in his favor, but just wound up taking a face full of damage from Dathex and Fizzy, who are still very dangerous even without the Ignite. Probably more lethal, in fact, than Barney Brigade's bottom lane. Olaf's early pathing has taken him all around the world as well. The only quadrant of the map he hasn't gone to is the... Actually, I guess he did take a detour down into the red side of Barney Brigade's jungle, just so that he could throw an axe at Cassiopeia. But
right.
So yeah, he's been everywhere.
He's taken a tour, admired the scenery. He's also a full level ahead of this Amumu, and I like this buy a lot. That's Lucidity Boots' first item. Very strong. Knowing there's no flash, there's no cleanse in the mid lane. Knowing there's an immobile bot lane. Swain's pushing up in the top lane. Olaf's got options, and it looks like he's decided on the bird first.
The bird is the word. Swain throws his crows down, but
he's
will
waiting
that
on
be
a ward.
enough? I don't think it'll be much when, yeah, like you said, he is waiting on a ward. Fizzy getting stunned up in the bottom lane. I think he's going to go down. No heal coming up from Lucian. That is first blood, picked up regrettably by Sideho Derek, but still for Barney Brigade's bottom lane. I mean, Morgana having a little extra gold for a little extra Sightstone or trinket upgrade, maybe.
If I were Momentum, I would have a pause right now. Because I am 100% sure that this 80 carry, Dathex's summoner spells do not work. That's now the 4th death. 3 deaths including him, and now 1 for his support, where he has decided to hold on to summoner spells.
Well, Lion Power just held on to his summoner spell all throughout that trade. He had plenty of time to try and flash the wall, but with Piotrick having Ghost up with those Lucidity Boots, that's going to be more like that's just going to happen all the time, and Lion Power can't be that far away from the lane.
And we've gotten to the point where the Doran's Blade eclipses the Longsword again. Of course, the Doran's Blade, in theory, better in all ends, right? You buy that if you figure you're going to get into bigger trades. The Longsword you buy if you want to sustain for the longer lane. But once those pots are gone and you guys are still even, the Doran's Blade takes over again. You get sustained faster. You have more base HP. And we see right there a consequence of that. Lucian and Zyra just could not push their advantage early on in the lane to take advantage of the fact Zyra has a lot of early damage, and Lucian has the long swords to back up these multiple trades. In the end, with no heal blown, with bad all-ins, with a Morgana binding taken to the face, that ensures that Varus gets ahead early on. He's got the CS advantage, the XP advantage, and he's coming back to lane with his Bilge Water, while Lucian has to back twice just to get his.
Yeah, that is rough. Varus getting to this one item power spike a little bit faster than the Lucian will shut down a lot of the early aggression options for the bottom lane, but Wing is going to have to cleanse out of here. It does not have the ultimate available, it does actually, but winds up using it in the wrong spot there. Lysandra throwing down the Glacial Tomb, and Olaf using the Ragnarok to become immune to CC means that that's a very quick and easy kill on the immobile flashless Cassiopeia. That's rough. That gives him mid pressure, gives him blue buff pressure. But Reventheus is going to be in the top lane here.
Oh,
a flash
nice
forward
block.
from Lion Power. Ravensman will get his
Indeed.
body slam stopped by the presence of Amumu. Will be forced to flash himself. So flash for flash, I guess not bad in theory. Reventheus is about to walk back into his jungle and find his blue buff being taken again. Or is he? Did he not see it? I think his mid laner's pinging for him, but now he's running away. He's going to get body slammed there. Ravensman dangerously low, though. Explosive cast not available. Lion Power will pick up this kill after a bandage toss, but that puts him in dangerous territory here. Amazing Wing Wang trying for support. Lion Power still sustaining up with the Crow's range there, and that is a really, really good miasma coming out from Wing Wang to stop the Lissandra from using that claw to get back or out of danger. That was a huge play from Wing Wang that nets them a second kill in that trade. And some
And
top
you can
pressure.
definitely tell that Lissandra was not prepared for her E to be stuck because she didn't have her flash prepared, ready to go. She didn't flash because she assumed she'd just be able to E out with the claw. Oh, this might be another kill
That's
bottom.
a disgusting binding coming out of Saito Derek, and it will net a kill, but Lil Stevie's dangerously low.
Oh, the
a
double
teleport coming out, but it's still a double kill for the Varus. That's insane. Excellent play coming out of Lil Stevie. Despite 2 extra people showing up in his lane, is able to net 2 kills for his team. That's absolutely crazy to me that they were able to get that kill on Evolution. And Piotrick, you might be in the wrong spot there, buddy. Did you forget you only had 35% health? I think you might have. He will go down the Swain.
I think he just decided he wanted to donate a blue buff to the Swain and ensure that Gragas would no longer be able to go topside.
You know, that's what I really like to see. If I ever get relegated to a solo lane or something, I really like that out of my junglers, personally.
Yeah, I personally like when my junglers give buffs over, donate them to what would normally be a losing lane. And I gotta say that this bottom lane that was hyped up for me beforehand and team speaking on Discord, this Date Fizzy legendary duo, it's looking a little less legendary than I expected.
It looks like their opponents may be legendary by the end of the game, actually. So I guess still by extension. Maybe. But I honestly didn't think Lil Stevie and Saito Derek were going to win this lane. I thought they were going to take a much more conservative
Yeah, this is
approach.
definitely not favored.
But Fizzy's now caught up by another binding, and that is going to be the chain of corruption as well coming up from Lil Stevie to net a kill. That's the natural synergy we were talking about. Jesus. 20 CS lead now in favor as well for Lil Stevie over Daythex's best Lucian on the Discord.
Yeah.
But Wing Wang getting caught out again by Piotrick, who's been doing a very good job of flanking around here. Allsnow dropped about lower than half HP in that trade, but Wing Wang, it will go down to Allsnow yet again. 2-1-2 on this Lissandra so far, and they're getting mid-pressure, summoning Reventheus up, who will actually use the Curse of the Sad Mummy onto Allsnow. He has the red buff as well, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Just uses the ultimate to wave clear, I suppose. Daythex is getting poked as well, really hard in that lane.
All Cassiopeia needs to do now is try to play as safe as possible. She's got her cleanse back up, so if she sits under tower, it's a lot harder for her to be dope. She needs to let her bottom and top lane carry. They're vastly ahead right now. 30 CS difference in the top lane. 30 CS difference in the bottom lane. Definite gold gates. All Cassiopeia needs to do is clear mid.
Yeah. The problem is Cassiopeia, you know, you throw your poison out there, you hit the minions. It's Ravensman getting actually caught up there by the body slam on the minion, but that's such a huge slow coming out from his cask there as well. The turret did most of the work there, but you know what? We'll give the credit to Ravensman. 3-1-1 on the Gragas, still managing to do a fair bit of damage by himself there. It's just a matter of what Momentum can do to try and get back the lead. It's really only 1,000 gold, which shocks me again, just like the last game, only being 500 difference at like 40 minutes. But Amazing Wing Wang is now the target of another Piotrick gank. Allsnow getting kill credit for that. Will flash forward and Glacial Prison onto Reventheus. That will be another kill picked up by that mid-jungle duo. Ravensman on the other side of the map. Very low in mana, but I don't think Lion Power has what it takes to proceed through. Slowing him down with a Decrepify there, but not enough.
This might be first tower.
Move. I think it is going to be first tower with the Olaf getting just enough mana for that W attack speed increase. It'll be red team getting first turret. Momentum getting a tempo advantage in the mid lane after all those ganks and visits, and then now they look like they have eyes on the bottom lane.
And despite the dominant side...
Oh my goodness,
Whoa,
Dayfix not managing to dash fast enough. Lil Stevie will finalize the kill.
Well, that was a little bit late on the Black Shield.
A little bit late, but she was just rotating all around. Didn't expect them to commit to a fight there. Fizzy chunked out very low out in the back half of that fight, but as well as Piotrek, actually. If they wanted to go for a fight around this Drake, they probably could get some exit kills. A flash and mastery from Sido Derek as he tries to lock down Allsnow, but Alessandra being able to get away from that. Wing Wang not going to get slowed up by that first Q out of Allsnow, thanks to the Black Shield, but we'll take a tower hit. Now going for Piotrek, who can slow him down. He's actually just going to turn on him. I think that's going to be a kill for Piotrek. That was way over aggressive from Wing Wang. On the backside of that, I guess somehow Morgana managed to get the kill onto Allsnow as well. So it's an even trade, though it probably shouldn't have been.
Again, this fight's just evolving less into strategy and more into let's bash heads and see who comes out on top. I don't like these kinds of games. These are just... they're not very thought out.
It looks like the aggression is not very tempered.
Definitely,
they're for sure.
They're not playing to their win conditions. They're not really playing to their strong sides. They're just fighting and seeing what the hell happens. So right now, I would say that the scaling definitely goes in Momentum's favor. But again, it's hard to tell. Of course, you have the Varus, where the more items he gets with this build, the stronger he's going to get. You have the Swain, which of course gets to a point where he feels like it's not... he's just not killable anymore. But at the same time, Olaf can be very threatening in the late game, especially if he opts to go for 1 or 2 damage items. You have the attempts by maybe the Lucian to make a double lift hero play if he decides to actually use his summoners. This overall, no, these are games where it's just lots of fighting, lots of skirmishing, lots of pushing, and hoping you can win. Like right now, here we go. Maybe another fight. There's an ulti available for
no, that it will be. Amazing Wing Wang actually taken out incredibly low. This will be the first solo kill from Allsnow in the mid lane, and that will be a kill going in favor of Momentum's mid laner. Derek trying to make an answer, but misses the binding. Tags him up there with the pool, but I don't think he wants to face check into 3 members, which he... oh, I guess he does want to face check into 3 members. We'll actually get the Thunderlord's proc for the kill, but Piotrek is going to be able to finalize the kill onto Lil Stevie's support there, Sido Derek. Lil Stevie now forced to flash away just because of how powerful this Olaf with Ghost is. A flash coming out of Ravensman. That should be a kill. The explosive cask on top of his corpse, and that will be Ravensman picking up a kill. Now 5-1 on the Scraggus. Should be set up very well to go very ham in the future.
I do want to point out that he messed up that flash body slam, hit something with a minion, and then flashed.
Did he?
Yeah, he hit his body slam on that minion and then flashed. So, again, this isn't even like controlled, calculated aggression. It's just like, hey, there's an enemy champion. Let's go in. Let's fight. This is China.
No, dude, this is Unicorns of Love. Chaos style.
Yeah, this is chaos style, alright, but the kind of thing where I really can't tell what the hell's going on.
I mean, we did see a tower advantage in favor for a short while. Oh, and he still gets hit up by it after those flashes. Datex getting chunked fairly low here, but we'll turn it on to Reventhius. The double TP coming in handy here. Allsnow coming down to help secure the kill onto Reventhius. Definitely a little aggressive there, not paying attention to the enemy cooldowns, not knowing that, or not remembering, I guess, that Allsnow has a teleport.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do? You're a Cinder Hulk. Cinder Hulk, Amumu. Against somebody with the Blade of the Rune King already has his support right there. Probably has summoners up too. What are you doing flashing in for the 2v2? You don't even have the damage to kill him if no one comes.
Well, they have the damage to break down Lil Stevie. It looks like Fizzy will be able to finalize a kill with the Ignite onto... or Sido Derek, rather, will be able to finalize a kill onto Fizzy with the Ignite and the Soul Shackles, but That was good heads-up play from him. He's been playing pretty well in terms of finalizing kills, although he's probably been a little too bloodthirsty for a support of his stature. This game is a little rough to try and analyze, though. I feel your pain.
Yeah, where do you find the gold? I'm interested because I think Morgana actually has more gold than her ADC right now, but I'm not entirely sure, or at least than their jungler.
I think there's enough CS to keep the Varus up above the Morgana in terms of gold, but
I was just wondering if there's a button I can press to check for gold. Either way,
I thought there used to be. Maybe
this game is devolving into what is basically a clown fiesta.
Oh, she actually has more gold than their mid laner. You can hit X to view the gold values.
X. Okay, that does make sense. Yep. Okay.
Only 400, 500 gold lower than the Varus, actually. So you weren't far off the mark.
No, I gotta say that if anybody should be getting the MVP for this game so far, it's looking like Sideho Derek, despite the name, is definitely not the basic one. There's a lot of good plays, a lot of bindings, definitely dealing a crap ton of damage, most of it unexpected.
Wait, there's a Frost Queen's claim in this game? Frost Queens in 2017 LoL.
Oh yes, that's a Frost Queen's claim because we're just going to continue to have fighting. Who needs vision if you can just face check with your abilities?
That is true. I guess there was more thought put into it than I initially expected. Piotrick now trying to get a flank on the Sideho Derek. There is Azania's coming out from Sideho Derek as well, but Reventhius locking up 4 members of the red side team here. Momentum's fit support dropping for the 6th time this game already. They trade it back onto the jungler. Looks like they're going to be trying to trade it back next onto the mid laner, but they will not find any kills anytime soon. Looks like pressure still in Momentum's favor here as they attempt to go for this Drake. No jungle, no smite on the side of Barney's Brigade, so it looks like this Mountain Drake is going to be in their favor.
Yeah, this is insane. I do like, however, that Olaf has opted for the Black Cleaver second. He's realized what this game has turned into, and at least he's going to have the damage to kill this Varus, perhaps? His ulti's almost up.
The slow will be negated.
A few seconds away, 2 seconds. Oh,
feels
unlucky.
Bad man with a gun.
They are, yes, with the gun. Definitely include that one for me.
Can I get a feels bad man with a gun in the chat for LoveDi?
No, please don't.
Oh, Dathex is feeling bad man. If he can't get this turret, he will manage to
He's
secure
got
it.
the rest of his
Wait,
team there,
Reventhius has just allowed the rest of Momentum to flank him here. Reventhius will be going down for the 5th time this game, most likely without an answer kill onto Dathex unless he can't dodge the bandage toss. There's a lot of damage. Heal's actually going to be forced out here. Body slam to save Dathex's life. I'm surprised Ravensman didn't use body slam before then. Maybe it was on cooldown or something.
I honestly don't understand what's going on in this game.
Would it be fair to say that some of these players' brains may be on cooldown?
Yes, there's some definite brain lag going on here. Game-long brain lag.
Series-long brain lag. There's a lot of attack speed on the Varus, though. Not that much damage right now, so his poke will be nullified for the time being until maybe he picks up a Black Cleaver of some kind.
This is what the build is composed of. It is a lot of early attack speed. It's dependent on the Blade of the Ruin King and the W passive to really deal a lot of the damage. Uh-oh, here's another pick.
There indeed is, because we don't have any mid-inner turret, but that doesn't mean we can't extend ourselves into the lane. We have Zhonya's, we have Swain.
I don't understand. Gragas had ulti, and there's no flash on the Swain. They didn't commit.
See, the thing is, the reasoning sometimes people give is like, well, we didn't know the flash was off cooldown. You still use the ability, because then he flashes. And then,
no, it just means that they don't pay attention.
Yeah.
It's
rough trying to find the reasoning there.
They don't have anyone keeping track of cooldown, and they're definitely not going to do it. So we're just going to keep bashing heads until they die. Oh,
well,
boy.
if it's anything like the last game, it will take another roughly 20 minutes to finalize things. Last game ended around 40 minutes in. This game, a little bit more slow-paced. You know, last game, I think by 18 minutes we had 25 kills. I think we're a little bit over that now, but... Or are we? No, we're at 21,
No, it was like 19 to 8. 19 to 18 at this time.
Yeah.
So they're slightly behind. You guys are only 6 kills behind. It looks like Gragas wants to change that with a failed flash body slam. Although I do believe he also took out the flash from the Varus despite being right next to Morgana.
I mean, in solo queue, you can't really trust your support to help.
Yeah,
out
this is definitely solo queue.
Looks like Lion Power does have the Zanya's backup if he needs it. Amumu going to cut off the approach of
But I don't
Trick.
understand. What's the
Wait, no, the
plan
junglers
here?
are just hugging each other. Amumu has no tank to deal with Trick's Black Cleaver. The armor
They're
has
not
been
gonna be able
melted.
to kill him, I'm pretty sure.
I think they may
Maybe.
very well.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
not going to use his Zanyas to
He
stall
doesn't
for
have
Wing
it yet.
Wang. So that will be 2 kills picked up. Raven's Man actually dealing a lot of damage to the Cassiopeia, forcing out the cleanse, forcing out the flash. Does not have the ultimate, but could EQ here. It looks like that will just about do it. Drunken Rage. Bop on the head.
I honestly don't think this guy plays much Cassiopeia. Did they just decide to pick this out of the blue? I mean, just the way he's moving, the times he decides to fight with these power spikes, he's just choosing the worst possible times to fight, and I don't know. I mean, on the other side, despite the missed flash body slams, besides that, Gragas has been very solid this game. Definitely a much better pick than the Nautilus last game, and that's another pick.
I think the mobility is really allowing him to make himself known. He's actually legendary right now. Like, we make fun of him for missing all those flash body slams, but this guy is 8-1-4 in the game, so really you're only as much of a scrub as your teammates and opponents, and if they're worse than you, then you can't be a scrub by comparison. You are, in fact, a Gragas god, like the Twitch chat says.
This is a very strange game. It seems like because Olaf and Gragas are much more straightforward in their engagements, they can just keep fighting. The composition this time around for Barney's Brigade is a little more mechanically intensive. It requires a little more finesse. They have the Cassiopeia that constantly needs to kite back even more than an ADC does. They go with the no mobility attack speed bars, right? They go with the Morgana, which is a little more unorthodox. So yes, you can still get picks, but it doesn't have peel necessarily. Like, you have the Black Shield, which dies off pretty quick, but other than that, it's not like you have the Karma or the Lulu, which both were still open, of course, to keep this Varus alive. So these are things that require a little better execution, and it's looking like they're just not on the same page.
It's 10 seconds on the Black Shield if they look for another engagement, Raven's Man. Good heads-up play for Derek. Like we said, you know, Raven's Man may be the MVP for Momentum, but it seems Saito Derek has got a lot of heads-up plays going on here. I'm so far impressed with his mechanical ability to land skill shots anyways, and his just spatial awareness of when Gragas shows up. I put E on myself or whoever he's being targeted by. Unless they flash away like Lil Stevie did earlier in mid lane. We won't talk about that, though. I think it's interesting how much impact Amumu hasn't had this game compared to how much impact he had last match.
He just doesn't have the team to back him up this time.
Raven's Man getting picked here, though. A lot of damage coming down. That will be Varus shutting him down with the repeated auto attacks. Stranglethorns to stall out any further engage, but now without a front line, what did Momentum do? They want this Mountain Drake. They want to have the third dragon of the game. It's just a matter of what's left.
The worst part is, that was a good time to engage. That was a good time for Olaf, Lysandra to go in. Because the Stranglethorns were on 4 people. They were all knocked up. That's an E-flash ulti if I've ever seen one from Lysandra. But instead, she just opts to sit back. Just people not willing to pull the trigger, and I don't know.
Keep your eye on the Amumu in this incoming engage if there happens to be one. His ultimate is still up. He's looking for multiple members to surround himself with. Looks like they will not give him what he looks for, but his team wants this Mountain Drake, and they'll give them that at least. Barney Brigade picking up a Mountain Drake at 27 minutes into the game, which means I think did they make the cutoff for... Yep, there is going to be another Mountain Drake, so before we have an Elder. Forgetting it's only 30 minutes into this game, honestly. There's been enough fighting for a whole series of LCS.
So now let's look at where we're at. Let's look at win conditions here. Right now, Cassiopeia is only sitting on the 2 items. with that BF sword just purchased by the Vars, yep, we're going to get an Infinity Edge. So that's actually going to be less damage than if he had just gone for the Black Cleaver to deal with these tanks. He wants to be able to get as much armor shredded as possible to get this Blade of the Rune King and this W damage to just really pierce through the HP. Getting the Infinity Edge right now when he doesn't really have a lot of AD or crit chance to complement it, he's actually not going to be dealing damage to the Fed members on the other team. And then, here we go. We have another fight going on here.
Yeah, in the red side jungle of Barney Brigade, they're going to force out the ultimate out of Olaf, which is a pretty key tool to prevent the engage coming in from Barney Brigade, but the bandage toss misses. So they may just get out of this alive. Sido Derek trying to move forward here. Not landing much on Allsnow just yet. Oh, he lands the binding actually, but they're ceding control mid lane. And that's going to be the mid-inner turret going down in favor of Momentum. They have a tempo advantage. They have mid priority. And they look to be establishing vision control around Baron on the blue side of Barney Brigade's jungle. Once again, this puzzling Amumu build to me.
Yeah,
with the Frozen Heart after the Cinder Hulk, you don't have a lot of health, and Olaf deals true damage. And there's...
Beyond that, he's not taking damage from the Lucian necessarily. I mean, he's actually going to take damage from literally everybody else more often than the Lucian.
Also getting chained up by the Chain of Corruption for Lil Stevie.
Oh,
will self-ult here. Sido Derek getting a lot of damage taken out for them. Lil Stevie actually is going to go down. Allsnow has a lot of damage coming in.
That was a bad...
Derek goes golden and gives up a double kill. And teleport is available, so Lissandra can recall and TP to this Baron fight that's happening right now. Baron's at 4,000 HP. Momentum are trying to get this team... They're trying to get something out of this. They wound up being stopped here. The Swain duking it out against Datix, but Reventheus will come in with the ultimate to silence the AD carry, shut him down. Swain getting him from beyond the grave. Amazing Wing Wang somehow managed to stay alive this whole time, but it looks like Raven's Man will put an end to that.
Is fed as hell.
Throwing the ultimate on top of the Snake. And now Allsnow is back, not even needing to teleport. Reventheus failing to flash over the wall, saying hi to Baron, and Piotrek will go ahead and give him a tap on the head. And now, back to Baron. Back to you, Bob.
Oh, man. This is absolutely a feels bad man game. I can't watch this. I don't know what's going on.
You can't watch this. You gotta cast it, too. You gotta talk about it.
Oh, okay, alright. So let's start at the beginning. First of all, be engaged. Varus and Morgana, they're overstepping their bounds, definitely trying to fight this Lissandra. Despite her not having the most kills on the team, she's still Lissandra with all of her abilities up. That's a lot of upfront damage. You can see her clearing the back wave with a single Q. That's a nice indicator to tell you, if this Q hits me instead, that's going to hurt a lot. Instead, they opt for the 1v2, they mismatch their abilities, they don't chain CC, they both walk into the AoE of the Lissandra ulti after she activates it, so they wind up taking a bunch of damage for free without getting anything in return. So they wind up losing that 1v2. It was still an outplay, but it was also a mechanical misplay for the bottom lane. At the same time, we have this fight happening in the Baron side river, and after a little bit of clown fiesting going back and forth, we can see that Gragas, with this huge gold advantage, these overall items, the damage reduction, the passive healing, that's a ton of extra tankiness. And so he manages to sustain through all the damage. He manages to kill literally the rest of the team by himself, and they get a free Baron because of it. And the worst part of it all is there were, again, summoner spells held onto. There was the flash could have been used earlier. They could have, at the very least, stalled until either the rest of the bottom lane could respawn and come up, or, I don't know, maybe go for a pick instead, pressure the river, get mid priority. There were just so many more options that they had available to them, and instead they went for the very obvious, let's brute force and hope for the best again, and it didn't work out.
Barney's Brigade's jungler has also purchased Guardian Angel as his third item.
Well, that's good. Now he can die twice when he dives in for no reason.
Well, the thing is, he has no health. He has no bonus health. He needs that against the Olaf. against the magic damage that he hasn't itemized against, coming out from the Lissandra and the Zyra and the Gragas, who are all dealing a pretty decent amount of damage, particularly the Lissandra, as we previously discussed.
You need to keep in mind, that's even inefficient from the first item he managed to get. Oh, nice
That's
flash.
a really good engage coming up from Ravensman. I'm at a loss for words just on the basis of that, but a 4-man ultimate coming up from Reventheus. His Guardian Angel is immediately tripped. The Zanya's coming out to lock down Ravensman with Cyto Derek's ultimate. No kills just yet, but yep, Dathix is going to be stunned up there, but also coming in with a huge double kill and Zanyaing to try and stop herself from dying to the turret. That will be picked up on the flip side by Lion Power, and now was a 2-for-2 even trade somehow through all of that. Although I guess they got 2.5 when they killed Amumu through his Guardian Angel. I think Gragas lost his GA as well, though.
That play by Lissandra guaranteed that they wound up getting that 2-for-2 trade. That could have been a lot worse. That was very nice. But in the end, it was a trade that shouldn't have happened in the first place. This all started with the flash body slam from the Gragas. Actually, he could have just gone for the flash body slam into the ulti. Ever since the Gragas nerfs came about maybe half a year to a year ago, where there's now consistently a delay when you throw your ulti. You can typically only, unless you have perfect animation canceling, you can only throw one ability in between your body slam and the amount of time they have to flash. That's how long that stun duration is. So you can choose. Do you want to get the Q out, the W auto out, or your ulti out with them not being able to respond? And so with this change, you basically are going for a much greedier... We even see this happen in the highest level. So this is by no means not just a criticism on Ravensman. But when you throw out the flash body slam and then you decide to ulti, you guarantee that they cannot dodge it, unless they have the QSS available. If you body slam and then auto and then ulti, there is a slight chance, depending on ping, depending on how fast you do the animations, that they can flash out. And so that fight would have been completely different if the Varus, the immobile Varus who did not have the Morgana prepared to put the black shield on him, if he had been ulted into the team at the beginning of the fight.
Indeed. We have another fight potentially going through here. Reventheus negating the knockup with a bandage toss. String of Thorns already used. No other ultimates from either team used just yet. I guess the culling did come out. We aren't really seeing a lot of consistent damage out of Lil Stevie's Varus, actually. Not because he's being picked in fights, but I believe because of his itemization with that Infinity Edge, as we talked about. That's very puzzling, since, you know, a lot of Varus's damage, he's more like an AD caster than you might think. You know, he wants to auto and then use his abilities, but Reventheus is actually going to be going down here more likely than not. Still no magic resist to speak of, besides that Spectre's Cowl is going to be able to flash away. But also, he'll just take Cassiopeia. He doesn't mind. He's actually going to dodge out with the Cassiopeia ultimate, but Wing Wang is going to be trying to get the kill. They both flash on each other, they bronze each other, and Alsno comes out slightly less.
What?
The mechanics. Can I get a mechanics in the chat?
Oh my god. I can't be watching this game right now. Let this series, please. Let this series please be an example. I hope every team in this league watches the VODs for these two games so they can understand the importance. This is the #1 most important thing if you're not a professional team. Pick your comfort pick. Pick what you know how to play.
Well, I don't think Lil Stevie is particularly comfortable right now, having been run down like an animal by this.
And that's just the reality of playing Varus. But I do want to talk about what you mentioned before. Not necessarily the AD caster, because I wouldn't say the current iteration of Varus is an AD caster in a normal sense. But what's most important now with the current version of Varus is getting 3 stacks of W and then using an ability. And okay, that's a lot of damage.
Whoa, Cassiopeia just vanished! Bye-bye, says Alsno's Lissandra. And now Ravensman and Lion Power are going to be duking it out in the bottom lane. Their team members are nowhere to be found, but that means that without the front line for momentum, they may actually be at a slight disadvantage in the top lane if an engage were to occur. I mean, Barney Brigade is just getting their turrets taken out so heavily. You saw how little damage Lil Stevie just did with his arrow. Is he actually going to be able to just auto twice onto All Snow, who puzzlingly went in instead of walking away? I don't know what's going on.
I'm trying to justify these plays, but I just can't.
What?
I don't know.
Fizzy's flashing at the slightest inclination
I don't know.
of any damage as well. I think
it's
tensions may be high.
This is another kill. Why are you trading that?
Ravens Man's going to flash over 2 different crowd controls and throw his ultimate. He'll be fine. He takes down the mid turret. I think plants are about to take out that turret. Never mind. He was able to defend itself. Redemption coming in from side Hoderic to try to keep his team healthy, and they certainly need it. They need all the help they can get.
But I want to talk about the bars build. So in a vacuum, you look and you see the IE. Oh, of course, if you could buy the IE, wouldn't that do the most damage? But the thing is, if you watch who he's autoing, a good 75–80% of the damage that he is dealing at the beginning of fights is on the tanks, is on the front lines. Look at the HP on those front lines. Black Cleaver, Dead Man's Plate, Cinder Hulk, Spirit Visage, Banshee's Veil. These are HP items, and there's not a lot of armor items really to go with it, but at the same time, that doesn't matter, because the current synergy between the Blade of the Rune King and the Black Cleaver, that's just so much shred. You include it with the W damage on Varus, and this is just, you'd be dealing a lot more damage to basically everyone if you can just keep that Black Cleaver. You got the CDR, so you can get abilities out more, you get your ulti up more. That was Flash and ulti blown by Olaf for, I don't know. Or
yeah, the Ghost ulti, yeah. But Fizzy's going to be immobilized here by Lil Stevie. There's the Chains of Corruption on there. Raymond's Man absorbing some crowd control with his Banshee's Veil. He's pretty tanky. Forcing out the teleport as well from Lion Power. He's actually initiated by himself. I think they have time to chunk him down before anything else happens. Stranglethorns come out to try and delay that inevitable, but Allsnow's now in the middle of the fight. Actually gets stunned up by Cassiopeia. The Lucian is doing a lot of work in this fight as well, but Sido Derek trying to put a stop to that is going to get the chain on there, the bind rather. Lil Stevie trying to find a kill onto him, but his arrows don't do a whole lot of damage. Piotric's ultimate is already back up, and he's looking to clean up this fight. Is not going to be bound, is not going to be stopped. He's got a GA as well. Sido Derek using the Zanyas, but Piotric is going to be able to use Vision to toggle around here and stop.
That just happened.
The Cassiopeia from killing him. And then he revives, and we can't do anything. Piotric just basically put that fight on his back. Charged in the fight started with him ghost ulting and doing nothing.
This is being casted. This is live. What?
What, did somebody say that in chat?
No, I'm saying that right now.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be a league.
It's supposed to be many things, my friend.
I mean, these people are competing to try and get 6th place in playoffs right now.
Well, at least we can have a very straightforward prediction show. 3 Elemental Drakes, Elder Dragon, secured for momentum. They should have everything they need here to close in on this Baron, get both of the Mega Buffs, and run it down anywhere as long as it's towards the enemy's
they're
nexus.
going to run it down somewhere. They can't help themselves. So we see the Baron take right now, and there's nothing that can be done to stop this.
Nope.
That Elemental, as you said, the 2 Mountain Drakes, there's no vision control, no prep. Yep, that's gone. Now...
All we can hope is a swift end to put us and all of the viewers out of their misery. That's all we can hope.
There may just be enough of a gold lead to where this last brute force may be the last brute force of this series.
I mean, they've had between 5 and 10,000 gold at advantage for the last 20 minutes and haven't been able to actually make anything stick, you know?
I'm fully prepared to watch Lissandra E into someone and instantly kill them.
No Guardian Angels available for any members in this game. So if you die, you're dead for good. Ravensman's actually been...
Zonya's being used on a single person.
Pretty heavily. Fizzy's just going to go down instantaneously using the Stranglethorns puzzlingly on herself.
What?
Redemption coming out to keep everybody alive on the side of Barney. Brigade. And they didn't even get the turret. Well, you see...
I don't understand.
They went in, they came, they saw, they didn't conquer, they left. That's basically...
Yeah, that's a good summary. They came in and they were like, well, you know, we're going to throw our Zyra into there. We're not going to bother actually following up, and we're just going to walk away.
Well,
I honestly, I think the biggest problem is these teams don't really trust each other enough. They're kind of all doing their own thing, and they kind of all hesitate. If they were all willing to go in, well...
Well, at the very least, even if everything went wrong, they would have at least ended the game sooner anyways, because the other team would have picked up the slack.
Exactly. This game needs to end.
It must end.
Before we get banned from Twitch.
What if we could have one of those Origin 80-minute fiestas? Are you down to cast another 40 minutes?
80 minutes? If we have an 80-minute game, I'm just going to clip the entire thing and send it to Des. He wanted a highlight montage, he can make an entire thing out of this video then.
Absolute fiesta, boys. 44 minutes into the game. It's been a long time coming. It may be a long more time coming.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they can break the base soon. They've got the dive for it. Look, Olaf can just split point. Why is he ulting? That doesn't help you.
It gives you more damage, dude. All you need to beat...
yeah, look at all the damage he's doing to the Swain. He's still healing.
What do you need to do?
Yeah, that worked
out. Just do damage to Swain. What do you mean? I read on Mobifier I just need to do damage to Swain. Why isn't it working? Oh my god. And the jungler goes down. Alright, so we have another...
We have another stop. Great.
We have another... We're losing it on the broadcast. It's okay. Things will be alright. They can wait for the next Elder and Baron takes.
Oh, that's okay. That was his own.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Excellent. Hey, can you like pause your game for like 1 second and then resume it because you're like just a little bit ahead of me?
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay. All right. I'll try to analyze this again.
Don't hurt yourself.
I've been off my rocker for these last 20 minutes. Alright, so where are we currently in this game?
Wait, Olaf only has died twice?
Right now, yeah. The top jungle duo has been very strong this game. They have been a majority of the damage dealt, I guarantee it. And, ooh, maybe a pick? His Zhonya's might not even be up yet because, oh, there it is. Alright.
Oh, never mind. His Zhonya's is up. He's not going to get healed up by Redemption, thanks to the timing there, but that will be a pick. A counter pick. They picked off Pio. Now they've avenged him. They've revenged him. They've revenged my brain.
So, hopefully, this can be another tower take, or another inhibitor take. This is a 4v5. Olaf is not there yet.
It's a 4v4, but Gragas is kind of like two people. And now he's half a person because he just got chunked out to nothing.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why he's using his entire body to poke them.
It's one hell of a poke.
Ooh, okay.
Missed bandage toss. That means that the inhibitor is going to be up for grabs for momentum on this red side. This has been a 46-minute game so far, but Reventhius is determined to make it go longer as he flash ults in, trying to give his team what it needs to be a 2-0, but also gets stunned up by Wing Wang on the top back end of that fight. Wing Wang trying to go huge here on this fight. Daythex getting poisoned, forced to flash away. Wing Wang flashing after him. A teleport flake from Lion Power, who has respawned on the back of the fight. Lucian and Allsnow both going down with the carries and the main damage dealers down for momentum. They may have just lost all of their momentum, and we may have just lost all of our brain cells.
Yeah, it's going to keep going. The game's going on. The game continues. And
Can I get an 80 minutes in the chat, boys?
Excellent. Excellent. I mean, there were some good plays, too.
Wing Wing actually was...
Yeah, that was actually some very impressive kiting by the Cassiopeia. I wasn't expecting that. The Bars had a very nice AoE ulti. And for the first time, that was a very bad explosive cast by Ravensman. He threw the ulti without even remembering the cooldown on the Morgana. Of course, this is later in the game. Morgana's going to have 20, 30, 40% CDR. That Black Shield's probably going to be up, and if you just telegraph that dive so easily, it's going to most of the time get predicted.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I just realized that I spent the last 50 minutes of my life casting this game. That's all.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Nice.
well, I had one of them.
Just keep in mind, there's a very good chance one of these two teams is going to wind up in playoffs.
I
So
hope
we get to cast them
we get
more.
to cast them some more. Hey, can we just honorary, like, you know how, like, that Reddit thread back when SKT versus KT played that best of 3 that was really hype?
Right.
And everybody, somebody made a Reddit thread like, can they just play a best of 100?
Oh,
that's what
yeah,
we need out of these guys, I think.
Okay, here goes Gragas going in a little early.
He's going to go ahead and flash back towards his
GM.
team. So is Lion Power flashing towards the team as well, getting chunked out pretty heavily. Zanyuzing, excuse me, and dealing quite a bit of damage. The 10th death for Fizzy on this Zyra. All Snow will not find a kill there. Ravensman goes down on the back end as well. Amumu being claimed by the true damage from Piotrick is the only casualty of Barney Brigade so far. 3 members down for Momentum. Only their AD carry and their jungler have remained alive. The jungler, Olaf, having a Guardian Angel as well. Baron is available. Only the top
We are
lane inhibitor.
actually going to approach 6-item game. Like everyone having 6 items.
Yeah.
There's already 6 items for the supports. 6 items for the supports.
You know that Olaf stream where he goes, "Argh!"
That's like all of his abilities. Which one?
You're right, but that's like all of my casting.
The W one?
Well,
What is-
Cassiopeia
what?
has decided she's going to take this game on, put it on her
They've
own
literally
back.
lost it. They're not doing it without their jungler?
They've decided who needs a jungler. We've got some lifesteal
Wait,
and
are
some
they
spell
gonna be able to
fam.
do this?
I think they actually are going to be able to do this, LoveDi, my friend.
Are
They
you
have a Mountain
serious?
Drake. They have the Baron, and they gave me a seizure doing it. Thank you, Barney Brigade, for stealing that Baron away. 5-man
my God.
Baron, active. Words,
This game
buzzwords.
is actually
uncaster.
going to be
Fire me.
stalled. This game's continuing to be stalled.
Absolutely. And you know what?
Unbelievable.
What would you do if Barney's Brigade wins? Because they've already closed some of the
It
gold
doesn't
lead.
matter to me. Neither of these teams deserve to win.
So are you saying that we should have a best of 3 to settle this? Like a third game?
Yes. Best of 3, all random. Honestly, this game should have been over long ago, but neither team's willing to really execute to their win condition.
Excellent.
The original idea. Let me break it down real quick. The original idea for both of these compositions. But what Momentum wants to do is they want to have the Lissandra go in first. They want to have the Lissandra in, immediately W Zonia's, and then ulti. And during this time, Gragas flash body slams, you have Olaf run in, you have the Stranglethorns to keep Lissandra alive, and Lucian is just pounding on whoever the closest guy is. On the other side, Barney's Brigade, they want to have the Amumu start the initiation, maybe a Flash Cassio follow-up, Varus hitting the same thing like Lucian does, the Flash from the ulti with Morgana, and in the meantime, Swain, Varus, they're dealing all this consistent DPS. This is the kind of thing where you pick these champions, you need to know how to play them once you hit full endgame. And right now, it looks like it's going to come down to one last clown fiesta over this Elder Drake. I don't know what's going on.
I hope it's not going to come down. I can't end now. It's got to end in 30 minutes.
Well, they're starting the Elder Drake.
They
gotta do
have a
something.
Mountain Drake. The other team has 2 Mountain Drakes. I mean, really, it's not much of an enhancement
Oh, here
of
we go.
Barney Brigade. Fizzy's going to flash away. Dathex using the Blast Cone to get back to the rest of his team and in position. Reventhea is chunked very low, but already Ravenman has been dropped low as well. Ironically named, given that the Swain is on the other team,
Oh my
but
God.
he will pick up a couple kills for his team. Amazing
just
Wing
lost.
Wang is going to flash forward as well. Only the jungler
They
alive
just lost.
for Piotrick,
What?
and they're recalling. Well, you see, they do have a
Did they just
potential.
win with the Mumu flash ulting one person?
I don't know that you can call
Oh,
it a win
actually,
just
never
yet.
mind.
They're losing
Oh
a
my
second
God.
inhibitor
Oh my God.
on the back of this. He's going to actually go for the Nexus turrets. Ladies and
No.
gentlemen, we have a base race, and only Cassiopeia
No.
is there. It's more than enough, I
What
think.
are
He's
you
going to sacrifice
doing?
himself for 1 Nexus turret, boys.
Oh
The big
my
plays,
God.
the X-Peke in the making. We'll check back on that in just a few minutes after Piotrick respawns and runs it all the way down through the jungle to try to snipe that last tower.
Why?
I think it might have actually
That's
stalled enough time, ironically, for the rest of the team to respawn. Like, they only have 15 seconds or so on the rest of the
So they
team.
have a decision. Do you take one Nexus tower, die, or do you go mid lane and stop them from counter pushing because your top and bot are pushed? And he goes for the one Nexus tower trade. Now both sides have an inhib open. Why?
Well, the thing is, with the Baron, or it's not Baron-empowered minions, but with the Baron having just worn off, Allsnow is actually going to be stun locked here. Will Zanyas to try to get out of that. Decent amount of consistent damage can still come from the Lissandra. Reventheus is going to be knocked away by the explosive cask on the last breath of Raven's Band, but now the damage dealers of Barney Brigade are dropping. Dathex is going to get bound up. Can he do enough damage to kill Derek? No, he cannot. Saito Derek will bind him.
QSS.
And Piotrick is now the only member alive. Is going to use the Olaf ultimate, but he could die. He could die here, and it will be going down to the redemption of all things. Saito Derek, you are the MVP. You've ended the game for all of us. Thank you so much. A round of applause for this man on the Morgana, the MVP of the whole game. 53.5, 54 minutes in even. He's taking the turret. He's taking the Nexus. This is going to be the slowest Nexus take I've ever seen in my life. Actually, never mind. Scratch all of that. He can't do it. He's going to die to minions. God damn it. Oh, no, never mind. It's 30 seconds on the death timers. He can do it. He can do it.
He can live. He just needs to walk back to his own minions so the our aggro switches. Yep, this is game over.
Thank Christ. Right. Woo! Feels good, man, with the gun now. It's a happy suicide. Derek is going to be winding up ending the game. And Barney Brigade are going to 2-0 in this playoff deciding series. Please. And we'll see you in the Ascension eSports playoffs.
That's not next week. That's the week after.
Can somebody clip that so I can send that as a highlight? Because I think that's pretty good.
I clipped it.
Excellent.
It was unlucky, but I clipped it.
It was definitely unlucky. This whole game is pretty goddamn
Jesus Christ.
unlucky.
You're telling me these teams have coaches? How do you coach that?
Very angrily.
Oh my god.
Hey, guess who did the most damage?
Yeah, Swain, yeah.
Oh.
I checked.
Guess.
Oh, was it Swain?
That was Gragas. I'd almost believe that, actually. You know what? It's funny, because Lissandra only barely did more damage than the Gragas. And you know what? Actually, up until like the last couple minutes of that match, the Morgana still had more gold than the Cassiopeia. Hey, at least we can sort of like go back to the rest of our lives now. Like we can try and sort of not be traumatized from that, you know? But like the players have to go back to each other. They have to go back to their coach and say
they have to review this game.
They have to look
to figure out why that game happened.
And try and figure out what happened there. Yeah, that's.
I mean, sure, we could do some post-game analysis. You know what? Let's do some post-game analysis.
I'm ending the stream. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Now, okay. What I am going to do is put aside all of the mechanical errors. That's a lot that I'm putting aside, but I will put that aside for a moment, okay? Let's just talk about rotations. Now, with the Elder Dragon fight, with the way the lanes were positioned, with the way that game was going, that was 6 items for quite a while for a lot of members. Yet I did not see a single Banner of Command or Zerat Portal buy to be used and then sold. So that's the first mistake. Once you get to that point in the game, when you have 3,000, 5,000 extra gold that you can use, where you can sell your item, buy something, sell that, and then rebuy your item, that's a mistake. You immediately need to use that for something. The second thing, at the actual dragon fight. No lanes were set up by either side to be shoving beforehand. Just both sides kind of saw members kind of grouping around the dragon and decided instead to send their member with teleport or their fast moving member to start shoving up lanes to get pressure to have them decide. They instead do the little elder dragon fight. That was also a mistake. The third mistake was in the end game, the very last push. Olaf decided to come from the top side, traded his life for one Nexus tower. Instead, bottom lane was slowly starting to push and your mid lane was really getting pushed. What you need to do there is you need to make sure they can't end the game. Because the chances of you making a hero expecte play, even though we joked about it, actually making a hero expecte play are slim to none. It's almost impossible to make a play like that. Instead, you go for the highest win percentage play. You get rid of all of the enemy minions around your base, making sure they cannot push to end the game themselves. Finally, in that very last team fight, the game-ending team fight, Lissandra died and Lucian died, both with either items, summoner spells, or abilities still ready to go. Even if it wasn't optimal, even if you weren't in the middle of the team, gunning people down, dealing DPS, you cannot. And in Nexus situation, it's better safe than sorry. You need to use everything you can. And that was the biggest difference between these two teams. When Barney's Brigade was getting pushed on at the Nexus, they were willing to use everything. They used summoner spells, they used heals, shields. Whether or not they were sure it would get them killed if they didn't use it, they decided to use everything. Instead, holding on to spells, holding on to things where you're not sure, well, this doesn't seem like the most optimal situation, that's the difference between victory and defeat. And that's why that game ended the way it did.
It did in fact end, though.
Yeah.
Well, Barney's Brigade will, I imagine, clinch a playoff spot off of that victory, that 2-0.
Well, now I'm pretty sure tied for 6th place.
Oh, so there may be a tiebreaker,
Yeah,
which I'm
so
sure we
we'll
will
see.
cast as well.
Have to double check.
We'll have to see how it plays out.
You know, actually watching these games kind of makes me want to play in the league myself.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Well, I'm uninstalling League as we speak, so.
Oh. Two kinds of people.
Bit of a different reaction.
All right. I think we're done here, right?
I think we're done here. Oh,
All
boy.
right.
Well,
Thanks,
I've been
everyone.
Pronogo. He's been LoveDi. We've been your casters. Thank you for tuning in for however long that you did.
Catch you next week.
We'll catch you next week. Same time. Maybe the same stream. Maybe not. Check the Discord. You know how it goes. Follow us on Twitter. You don't. All right, bye.
Don't do that.
Follow me on Twitter.